Acción, tu revista mensual de cine y series, con los mejores estrenos de cine, fichas y reportajes coleccionables, series de televisión y 4 pósters todos los meses. Búscala en tu kiosco.
Rolling. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for this interview. And first question, I want to ask you, what attracted you from Kraven, the hunter, from this character? What was that made you choose this film?
So I mean, JC Shandor and Matt Tolmack, the producer, approached me with this project, and we just started the conversation about like, how's this comic book character gonna, feel and look different. We talked about the tone of the movie. We talked about the potential of where this character could go, and it just was really exciting. And I looked through a ton of comic books from like 1950s all the way through, and I just thought there was something unique there. I mean, to play a iconic villain, there's a lot of complexities and layers to that, and moral ambiguity, and I think that's just a really interesting area to play. So and I knew it was going to be an action-packed movie, and I just thought, yeah, why not?
You just mentioned it, it's the story of a villain.
Yeah.
It's not a hidden story, so how's been that to play the main character that is the bad guy? It's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. I think it means that we want the audience to go on a journey with this character. So we need to understand, where does it spawn from? Where does this villainy start? How does he get on this path of darkness? I mean, because we've got the comic books. We looked at Kraven's Last Hunt. We know the end. We know how it ends.
My favorite Spider-Man comic book ever.
Me too. It's like one of my all-time favorites, and that was one of the reasons why JC and I were like, we want to do this movie, right? We wanted to kind of give it the origin. This is an original. This is not from a comic book. We're giving we're finding the underbelly of who that person is, and if you work from the end and go all the way back to the beginning, it gives you a lot of creative freedom to be able to take the audience on a journey. So that's what we want to do, And I know there's a lot of skepticism, and I don't mind that. I think it's okay. You can come to the cinema with a bit of skepticism and think, is it possible? And I think you'll walk out the cinema thinking, holy shit, this is awesome.
It's also an R-rated film. It's not really something usual that we find a comic book film.
Right.
It's R-rated. We have Deadpool, of course, but it's a comedy.
Yeah.
And this is a dramatic film, so how's been that and how that changed the rules of this game?
Yeah, it was really a matter of us trying to listen. If we could squeeze this into a PG-13 box, we would have. But it just didn't do justice to the character. It didn't do justice to the story, and so. To Sony's credit, Tom Rothman allowed us the freedom to just go to town, and I think it makes for a different Marvel movie out there for audiences to see, and yeah.
You just mentioned that the director did it a few times, so when we think about a comic book film, maybe it's not the name we have in mind to direct this kind of film. So
yeah.
I've been working with him because he's an amazing director.
JC Shandor is an incredible director. I mean, he made A Most Violent Year. He knows characters that are interesting, dark characters. I mean, this is a gangster story. And that's how he wanted to see it, a very traditional sort of gangster story, a family feud. Russell Crowe plays my father as this head Russian gangster, and he wants his boys to take over the family business, and they don't want to have any part of it. They don't want to be anything like his father, and it sets him on his path of becoming a villain. And then it's really a matter of, is he doing justice, or has he become far worse than his father, So it's a really unique, beautiful story.
You played characters from comic books before. So what is that makes this really stand out and make it really different from what you played before?
Yeah, I think firstly, I really love different characters, and I love different genres, and so I think it was important to kind of, if I was going to step back into a kind of a Marvel world, that it needed to feel very, very different. It needed to feel separated, and in a way that it had its own sort of, its own tone. And this guy, he's not a, he's a man. He's a highly skilled hunter and trained killer. So it's completely different,
This is the first film. Of course, we all depend on the box office, but are there plans to make more hunts from Kraven?
This character, I mean, we've worked on this character for 3 years and like dialed it in. I'm super proud of this movie. I'm really excited to share it with the world, and it's a character that has enough potential and the legs to go on. It's a character that I'd love to see continue, and I hope when you come to see this movie, I think you'll walk out the cinema thinking you'll want to see more. I mean, come see this movie. It's exciting. It's a new comic book character that we've brought to life on screen. This is not, it's not been done a bunch of times. There's an opportunity there to kind of get behind it and be excited for it. The characters that he goes on to in the comic books, the sort of superheroes he goes toe to toe with, I think it could be potentially really exciting. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Acción, tu revista mensual de cine y series, con los mejores estrenos de cine, fichas y reportajes coleccionables, series de televisión y 4 pósters todos los meses. Búscala en tu kiosco.